microphones are turned off?
Yes.
All right. Beautiful. Maija, DiGiorgio.
Yeah, of course they shared. What do I look like? They keep sharing.
Welcome to Two Tired Twats Comedy Podcast. My name is Patty Rossborough. I am here today with the very lovely Carrie Karavis.
Hello, Patty Rossborough.
Hello, darling. And we're going to discuss something very briefly. But before we do that, let me introduce our guest today. We are very lucky to have her. She's usually in L.A. hobnobbing. We have Maija DiGiorgio.
Oh,
yes?
Thank you. Yes.
You want to know something? You probably don't remember this, but I did work with you probably. How long have you been doing this?
Way too long to say online. Cause
Okay.
I've been gone, and then everybody thinks I'm new at this.
Okay. Well, I worked
6
with you
months.
many moons ago. It may have been before my children were born, but I don't see how that's possible. Or maybe when they were very young, but it was at the Comedy Cellar.
Mm-hmm.
And do you remember this? There were these Italian guys there one night.
Oh, yeah.
And this one Italian guy's going, tell me a joke and 10 jokes in 30 seconds. And he was giving away $100 to all the comics who would tell him a joke, you know. So you got a $100 tip. And then I went up after you, and I got he was just throwing $100 bills around.
He was a disaster that night. I remember Vanessa was hosting. Vanessa Hollingshead,
Oh, yeah, that's
brilliant
right.
comedian. She was hosting. She's like, that table, and I used to come up with a lot of black rooms, so I was like, where?
You did
I ran
so
down,
good
and then
with
I'm
them.
glad everybody made 100 because they were like, and they gave you the light, and I was like, 10 more jokes, say. I was like, for $100.
Okay.
So much better than having to like do something else to degrade yourself. And they were
Yes.
happy. They
So
weren't dirty
You got
jokes.
$100,
Yes.
and then the club paid you 20.
And, no, the couple. I think they paid me chicken wings. I
Yes.
think
Yeah,
it was a
back
weekday,
then.
so it was a
Food.
chicken
It was
wing.
food.
It
It
was
was
chicken
food.
wing
Right,
spot.
you got paid in
Back
food.
Yes,
then.
yes.
But that was many years ago when I had black hair back in the day.
Yeah, I know. I've been a huge fan of yours. You've just
Oh.
you've really helped us all as female comics because
You're very sweet.
so many female comics have just
Patty,
been.
you don't see it.
I know, because I'm, an old cow.
You guys with the
But-
old thing. We got to hang out with me. Sheesh. Sheesh, because you both look fabulous.
Well, so now you quit for a while? What
I
happened?
quit for a very long time.
How long did you quit? Can I just say this? Not only did I think you were so funny that night and other nights that I saw you there, but you were so good at handling a rough room. Like, that didn't throw you. Like, that Italian guy yelling shit out. Everyone was getting angry. You didn't get angry. You were just like, really? You want 10? I'll give you 10. Because some of the people, you just handled them very well.
She's got balls, baby.
And beautiful girl. And you had your hair all big and
Yeah,
out that night.
beautiful.
I
She's
wanted
a
to be
tri-
like Carrie, so I wasn't going to be scared of anybody.
This girl's a triple threat. She could sing, she could dance, and she can act. But
Do you sing and dance? I didn't know
Yeah, I
that.
came up from tap dancers and singers.
her mother was Broadway, right? Your mother
Yes,
did
and my,
Broadway.
my uncle won Tony Awards. He taught the Hines brothers how to tap
Get
dance.
the fuck out of
So
town.
he choreographed all the shows and the films and stuff. So I grew up in a tap studio, and they would all say, you better learn to dance, you better learn to sing, you better learn to play an instrument. And then I was too busy goofing around in the dressing room trying to make the comedians. I was a comedian. I run in and out, beep, 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 and they were like, he'd just be like the comedian.
Wow, so
then
you
I
can
ended
tap dance?
Yes.
Very well.
You know, I
Comically.
took tap dancing classes, and the woman turned me away after the sixth class.
Really?
I was taking
She
private.
didn't want your money.
Oh
Where
my
were
God!
you?
I was moving to New York. I was living in Utica, and this woman. I thought, for me to make it in New York, I better know how to tap dance. I don't know where I got these fucking ideas. So I took the class, and the woman was like, she goes, "Are you practicing at home? Are you doing it?" And I go, "Yes, I am," but I couldn't get the feet to do that thing.
It takes time.
She just
I used to-
said it
yeah.
was. not
She
good.
was that bad.
I was
she
that bad.
I've never heard of a dance teacher, even
tells-
if you sucked.
Yes.
They
She
still
wanted
want
the money. It was bad. It was
Oh my
humiliating.
God, you must have been really bad.
Do you
humiliating.
have rhythm?
No,
Oh.
I'm
that's-
Irish, but yeah,
But you guys can clog. My best friend is one of my uncle's top students, and even Savion Glover would steal steps from her. She
Really?
can hoof, and she's Irish German, and she comes in like hi, and you would never know that she could throw down. My cousins who were like rappers would sit outside listening, like, do you hear her in there?
Wow.
She's ripping apart rhythms. Like,
well, people may not know this, but you are half black because you don't look like you're half black. You look like you're
Well, it's
white,
white
you know,
people
let's be
don't know
honest.
this, and black people think that I'm black. So it's
Oh,
an
black people
awkward
think you're
place.
black.
So it happens to me where when I was young, people would always, the Italians were like, "Don't tell anybody, don't tell anybody."
Are you serious?
Yeah. So
Wait, but you have a sister who's
I have
darker
a
than
sister
you.
who's darker than me, but she would always she tried to make herself look like my sister looks darker than me, and she tries to be more white, and I'm the one who tries to be more, and I look Jewish. And so it's always, but if she had
You
my
look
hair
Israeli.
or I had her complexion, there wouldn't be any question.
But now you have blonde hair.
Yeah,
and,
so
and
that's
a
I
black
have a
mother.
fabulous hairdresser.
Oh.
Yeah,
Ah.
Amy Weiner, fabulous. We
Oh.
were discussing it today because I'm going up for all these auditions, and one of the things is I realized my headshots, my hairdresser went really light, which I've been begging her to do.
I like the light.
I love it light. It's great as a
But you
comedian, but
always
as an
light.
actress,
You
no,
al-
I had dark hair.
You did back
yeah,
in the
when
day?
my
It
my Def
wasn't
Jams and
too
Apollos.
dark,
It
dark.
because
those-
you know what I had. Here's the thing.
You had
I
highlights.
When I was a kid, I had blonde hair. And the Italians were like, "Where did this come from?" And oddly, on my mom's side of the family, my Uncle David came out with blonde hair and blue eyes, and they didn't want to give him to my grandmother because they didn't believe that was really her child. But that's what I have a bit about it. You know, black families are like opening a bag of M&Ms. You get a brown one, you get a red one, you get a yellow one.
That's right.
You get a blue one. Like, how did this Skittle get in here? That's the gay one. That's but you get different.
You know Angela Scott, right? She has a bit. Do you know Angela Scott?
No.
Oh, very funny, and she's black, and her parents were Black Panthers actually back in the day. And she talks about when she had a baby, and her husband was all upset because the baby came out white, and he was like, what the hell have you been doing? And she said, but it comes out white, but it takes a while, and then it browns up a little bit.
Yeah, my
later.
sister is very olive. Like, she looks like one of Prince's girlfriends. Like, she always had like the Apollonia, the Vanity, and
Yeah.
when she was a kid, it was like the Irene Cara calls. You know what I mean? And I don't want to age myself. When we were kids, my uncle had us up for Cotton Club, the movie, and he ended up choreographing
Seriously?
the film. And my mother did all the rehearsal pianists, and my sister was one of the tap dancers there. And so she was in the
She's in the
elevator.
movie?
She was in the movie, and I was in the film too. I was in a film as a drummer, so I got hired as a drummer. But this is what happens with show business families, which cracks me up. My uncle goes in, he goes to choreograph. Then my mom goes, they need a drummer, they need kid drummers. So I go in and I do the drumming thing. And my aunt the whole time with the director is like, "Ooh, oh, look, she's really hamming it up." So they hire me. And then, like 2 weeks later, my mother says my uncle starts the rehearsals. And you know who was in the cast was Alfonso Ribeiro.
I don't know who that is.
He was on like Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, and he's always
okay.
he's the one that does the. He actually was
He
on
was
Dancing
Carlton
with the
Banks.
Stars.
Oh.
Yeah,
Yes.
Carlton.
Oh, him. I know him.
Yeah.
Okay,
So
yeah,
and
yeah,
people
yeah.
were like, "Oh, he can dance, Dancing with the Stars," but he got Cotton Club, and then he got Tap Dance Kid, and then he got the McDonald's commercial.
So he could always
So he
dance.
could always dance. So he was one of the kid dancers. We were supposed to be outside of the Cotton Club, and I was one of the drummers. So about 2 or 3 days of choreographing, then my mother grabs my sister and says, "Get in the car. Now this is our plot. You're going to stand in the back and just pretend you're trying to learn the steps, and then Henry's going to turn and say, 'Oh, just like how Ninot did,' and then they're going to pull her up front." And Gregory Hines' daughter was in the number, and we were all
she was?
Yeah, so it was like this big kids number. But my sister, it was interesting because we never really thought about complexionism. Meanwhile, all my white friends at school were like, "Oh, you're going to go hang out in the city, the black kids are going to be there." And you don't really think about all this stuff. Like my therapist was like, "Well,
All the racist comments that you're getting?
because when we were a kid, my friends were like, my therapist once said, she said, "Didn't you have like birthday parties in the white neighborhood?" I said, "I did." And they said, "What did you do?" I said, "We watched the Wiz." And all the kids wanted to leave, except for me and my cousin that knew all the numbers. It was crazy. So anyway, there was a guy who actually was Gregory Hines' character. He was a Cotton Club man who was from the Cotton Club, but his sister was a famous Cotton Club dancer. So he saw my sister in the elevator, and he freaked out. He was like, "You look just like a reincarnation of my sister. That's what a Cotton Club girl would look like."
How old was she at the time?
She was like 15.
Oh, okay.
And so they went to put her in the number, and it was just all this politics and craziness. But it just became that. But it's wild because that's the light complected black people were especially the women. They always had brown skinned men, but that's what we look like. What Cotton Club women look like.
That's so interesting.
So there's a whole history. If you go, it's funny. If I'm in Chicago, people have no problem.
Well,
knowing
it
what I'm
got
like.
a
If
lot
I'm in the South, and I go in the South, there's a bunch of people that look like
But
me.
a lot of the DNA got intertwined back in the slavery days when
Yes.
when they used
It
to
would-
have
it-
sex with.
Yeah, well, it was considered, the slave trade ended 100 years before it actually did. So you was encouraged. You would rape your slaves. You'd have more slaves, and it would be better for your business to go outside and rape your slaves.
Oh
So they said like 80% on Frederick Douglass's plantation said that we're all slave masters' kids. So you end up all speckled, and then my mother had like a Sinbad, Malcolm X complexion, light skin, red bone. She married an Italian.
Your mother
I came
was
out like
beautiful.
this.
Oh, beautiful.
Absolutely beautiful.
I looked her up to see because it said that she was a singer, and I looked up what's the name of the song I heard. Wait a minute, what was it called? Yes, Say Yes.
Oh yeah, that was her little
jazzy
live.
and very cool and beautiful, and just she was a great singer and everything.
Thank you. Yeah, she
Is
was
she
phenomenal.
alive still?
No, she passed away when I was 14.
Oh shit!
And the Italians kidnapped me, and they were trying. That's when they were trying to turn me into an Italian girl.
Wait a minute,
And
but
so-
you didn't live with your father then?
I have. Here's the thing. I
Uh-oh.
kind of live with my father. But Italian men, they don't. Italian men are so mothered by their mothers that the grandmother kind of takes you.
Oh, so you didn't live in the house with your father? You lived in the house with your
I
grandmother?
had a stepmother that threw me out. I lived with my tap dancing choreography uncle for a
Oh,
long
well,
time,
that's
and then
good.
between him and my Italian grandparents that were.
So wait, the stepmother,
best.
the
Were they
stepmother
the
threw
best?
you out.
My stepmother, my father, what the Italian grandparents?
They were the best.
My grandparents were the best, but is racist and could not, and were very not nice to my mother.
Oh,
So,
that's horrible! And
yeah.
then you have to like choose. Like, are you in the middle of the
you know,
racism? And
Well,
everything?
it was
Were
pretty
they
mean.
racist? They were
felt
right off the
guilty.
boat? Were they off the boat from Italy?
My father came over when he was 10. My grandfather used to work for Mussolini. My father was born in northern
Get the
Africa
fuck
in
out.
Somalia.
He worked for Mussolini.
Yes. So he was
Oh
in
my
Somalia,
God.
and they came over on the boat, and the only people who hired him were Jewish, and they lived in Bensonhurst, and my father was an only child
But
of
how
a
did your
Sicilian household.
How did your father not end up being racist to fall in love with a black woman, and then his whole family?
Because he grew up in America.
And
Yeah,
grew
but still,
well, my father was a little progressive. He went down to they met in acting school,
Oh, okay.
and at Herbert Berghoff Acting Studios.
Oh, I went there.
Yeah, they met in Herbert's class. Both of my
Oh,
parents
that's
were in
so
Herbert's
funny.
class.
And then he and your mother got divorced.
Well,
and
they
then-
were getting divorced right when she passed away.
Oh, that's so
that was very
heartbreaking.
hard. Yeah,
Oh, that's hard for you. And then the stepmother comes in, and then
yeah.
she's
An Irish
horrible.
stepmother, flight attendant.
You Irish bitches.
I know. What?
You Irish bitch.
Irish mothers are supposed to be extremely cold. Now, I was a very warm Irish mother, but Irish mothers are
Let's
known
call
to
Molly right now.
be horrible.
I know, like literally the cultures, and people would say. I remember Lucian one time because we're at the comic strip.
Oh, yeah.
Lucian saying, "Oh, you don't see the world. How different could it be?" But
What do you mean, how
literally,
different could
my
it be?
cultural household from my mother. You don't think of it as race. You think of it as what's going on. Things are so different. It was
Right.
complete opposite of my stepmother's. It was a complete opposite household.
Really?
Yeah, it was very, very confusing.
Is your stepmother still around? Does she like
they
you
got
now?
divorced,
Oh.
and she's still around, and she wants to come to one of my shows. But I keep saying to my dad, just let me know which one because
She's part of it?
Part of it.
Oh
She's
no!
part of it. Yeah, she's because it's different. I figure too another way of dealing with talking about racism in my act. For a long time, when I always would tackle these issues, but as I really sat down to write, as I got older, I decided, as opposed to always saying black or white or this, I can represent the world through my family. I have
Wow.
a Korean aunt, so it's like I can do what it's like culturally living between people, and maybe they can kind of melt
Well, your show's
the
called
racism.
Incognito.
Incognito.
Incognito. I'm
Yes,
sorry.
incognito. Yes.
Which is
That's a
brilliant.
Oh, thank
Very
you.
funny.
Great.
Sinbad gave me a great tag. He said they let me in the house, but they just didn't know. So,
That's funny. That's funny.
Well, now let me ask you this: so, if you have the black mother, the white father, you got. I mean, did you have to make a choice if you're black or white, or are you just like, I'm both, or did you have an identity issue?
Yeah,
or
because like Obama chose to be black.
I don't know if he chose to be
no,
black.
Because he said he's the first black president. No, he's
no,
half white, though.
well, this is an interesting topic because this comes up a lot. Because
Right.
right now it's funny because now for the first time because before when I did comedy there were no other mixed race comedians talking about
it's
it.
kind of funny. I'm
But
trying
now
to
there's a
think
lot.
back.
A
Yeah,
lot of
now
women
there's a
now.
lot and a lot of
Right.
and a lot of kids, and they're coming at me with, and you can see that they're still confused on the issue. Half of them hate me because they think I'm just trying to be black. The other half of them hate me because they think I'm trying to be white. It's literally
you're in a tough spot.
it's a very
right?
strange place.
It really
but,
does.
But see, historically, for me, when my mother and my parents tried to, they had a long discussion about what should they say on my birth certificate. And because we were in New York, my parents got married when it was illegal still in 17 states.
What do you mean it was illegal to get married? You can't even believe the shit that was even
and
a
the
thing
president,
back then.
The president who was in office said that abortion should only be legal in case of rape or interracial relations.
Oh my God!
So being at
Oh
that
my
time period, since the 1600s, there's been mixed race babies. The entire race is mixed race.
Yeah.
But before the civil rights laws had passed,
Right.
and Virginia versus Loving passed in 1967.
What's it called?
Virginia versus Loving. The
Okay.
couple was a white man and a black woman,
Oh,
and
they did a
ripped
movie
it.
on
They did a
that.
movie on
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
So when that was passed, before that, the white parents, white guys, if they had a black baby, they would just leave the family, and it was kind of a hush hush and a discussion, and the black family would come and they would take the babies, and so
my
so it's
God.
part of the black culture to be mixed, and and the other thing is by the U.S. Census, if you are considered 1/16 black, you're returned as black. So there were court cases where people who looked like they were passing got into the wrong train car and they looked white and they ended up going to jail and having to fight. So if I was born one generation earlier, I could have been thrown in jail or killed for saying that I was white. So now, because hip hop
So
became
crazy.
popular,
Yeah.
all of a sudden everyone's going, "Oh, you're just trying to say you're black," as opposed to my family had to really work with me to understand why, if I look this light, why do I not say that I'm white? Because a lot of white people said, "Why didn't you say that you're white?" And my aunt would say, "Well, what's so great about being white? Why can't you be what you are?" But the thing is also, too, the words changed, because before we were people of color, and then it became Black is Beautiful movement.
Right.
So then it became black people. And so then all of a sudden it became a bunch of complexionism. And then also, too, when the affirmative action came, everybody wanted to hire people who were brown skinned so that when the government would come in, they would turn around and say, "Oh, he looks like what he is," as opposed to black people of different
Do you
complexions.
know how? But listen to how sick this is.
I know it is.
Human beings are not considered human beings. Like, it's beyond. You know what I mean?
Well,
like,
you
you
know-
treat animals better than you treat people. This is beyond
And the fact
understanding.
and the fact that there's boxes
They're
every time
human beings.
every time you apply for a job, you have to check a box
Well,
or do whatever.
I
you know?
remember my father never dealt with my life. My mother dealt with everything. And then when my father had to move me from schools,
Why?
because after my mom passed, I was in a boarding school, and he put me to a school that was closer when she was sick. And he came in, and I remember him looking at all these boxes, and it was like, check this or check that, because they didn't have you're checking this and checking that.
Right.
And
Now
two-
you can opt out of boxes even. You can say I'm not going to answer.
But
that.
it was an interesting thing, and it wasn't until years later that I realized the problems that I have are problems that people of color have. This is my identity, like trying to just even express. People should just be like, your mother's your mother, your father's your father. Not, well, you look more like your father, so don't deny your mother. And it also has to
Right.
do with
That ain't gonna
and the
happen.
Italians. And the other thing is the Italians. The only group that ever accepted me fully is are black people. Every other group has always considered me a
So
half of
weird.
this, or
Yeah,
don't say
yeah.
that, or you don't really look black. You don't have to say that. So
do you,
it's
do you know
always
this
there's so
comic,
many layers.
Tommy, I forget his name now. He was on that show where what's his name? Tommy. He's a very famous comic. Tommy
Davidson.
Davidson.
Yes.
I love
Very
him.
funny guy. I saw him on an interview show once, and I guess he has white parents. He was adopted by white parents. Is that Tommy Davidson? And he's saying, I kind of always grew up and kind of felt like I was white, but he's brown,
But he's brown, but light skinned.
Right, but he said, but I always kind of identified as white. He goes, then I was at this party and something had happened and there were guns going off and whatever, and the cops came and the white people were here, and I just remember the black people saying to me, "Come on, Tommy, we better run. We're going this way." And he goes, and I just remember that moment where I'm looking at the white people over here, and the black people are telling me to run. He goes, and that was the day I ran with the black people. I thought, you know what? I think I'm more black than I am white. But he had the same issues, like he
That's
grew up in a
horrible.
white family.
No, I think this is the issue: is that America accepts one culture, really. And that's probably the reason why all the different cultures, when you come to New York, you see the Italians with the Italians and the Irish with the Irish, and everyone hangs on to their culture. But really, there's one culture that's considered the American culture. And when you're growing up, you don't really think about it.
Yeah.
And then there comes a point where your parents sit you down and say, listen, it's not going to be the same for you. And you have to be very, very aware of what's going on, because you'll start to be, you'll think it's personal. You'll take
Right.
it personal. And so this is a problem that is not just if he grew up with white parents, because here's the thing. People would say to me, and I had a friend who actually another comedian that used to work the comic strip said, "Oh, your mother was like a wannabe white person. She spoke all those languages,
Who said
and she's
that?
saying all these,
Fucking weird.
And it becomes like, well, no, and this is also part of the confusion too. Because someone is educated in the black
right.
community, all of a sudden they're considered a sellout and they're trying to be white. So there's so many psychological
And is that
traps.
from a black person saying that to you?
That's from a white person saying that to me. So I've heard that, and so you hear that.
But
And
also
then
the black community,
will
will come at you too
come
with
at you
that and say you're trying to be
not,
white.
You're trying to. There's so many.
Like you're a traitor
This
or
is how
something.
many layers. But the thing is that like I have a joke where I say, and it's about the same person who keeps saying, oh, the black people are reverse racist against me. I said, no, white people don't like you either. But as like black people have never, I've never met a black person who was racist. I've met a black person who was suspicious. But I've never seen a black person say, well, you know what? I don't want these people to be able to vote. I don't want these people to have an equal education. I don't want these people to eat. I think that these people need to be beneath me. And that was what was hard, especially being a New Yorker, because now coming back through comedy, I've been booked in some of the craziest venues just to work. So I'm at like the KKK headquarters in Indianapolis, where I walk out and my opening line is like, I didn't know Duck Dynasty had a fashion line. You know what I mean? And then I'm having to, I'm like, well, my material is my story. And they're going to have to go on a journey of a place that if I was brown.
It's kind of scary, though.
Well, here's the thing. If I was brown skin, they would be mentally prepared for what I'm about to say.
Yeah, that's true. You kind of hit them from.
Well, they already think you're black.
No,
they don't,
The white
though.
people
White
don't.
No, not. If you're brown skin, they're like,
they
you're
know
black.
it, and then
Right,
this
and
what
then they
happens.
can hear
Then
it.
this not even they can hear it. They prepare their mind. And so, like, if you see like a brown skinned comedian go on and talk about racism, white people quickly shut off their ears. Because then, this topic again, you're just angry and bitter, and you just want, it just becomes very weirdly. So
you think they listen to you because you start out where they think you're white?
If I trick them a little bit, I can get them a little farther down the road sometimes.
Oh, interesting.
And so and I feel like, when I did Def Comedy Jam years ago, I was doing jokes that might be, funny in the black community or, a different style of hip hop comedy. But one thing I wanted to do, if I'm going to identify, because I could pass, but if I'm going to identify, I want to add to the community. I don't want to take away. I want to be able to have my mom's family turn on a TV show and not like just hang their heads in disgrace because I'm yo-yoing it up on because I come from everyone's got PhDs. My mother's family are very
really?
Yeah, they really worked to come up, and you're supposed to work to come up and bring your people up. So
You know what I think? I think it's easy to say, oh, look, they're complaining. This group of people are complaining again when you're white, because you don't know what it's like to walk down the street and have people stare at you, people following you around in a department store,
or shooting at your kids from the police. You're scared to go to the police. The other thing is that what I'm finding is, it's very deliberate. If you look at the way the country has been set up, it's set up so that we're confused with each other. It really is
They
set up.
want to do that to us.
It really
They
is
wanna
set up. I
divide
mean,
us.
there's some really brilliant PhD discussions about like the color line and the things that are psychologically, because when Selma, the reason we had the Civil Rights Act of '64 passed anyway was because Selma was on TV and white America saw for the first time what was going on in black America, and then things changed. But it has to be. But it's hard. People have so many burdens in their life. They think, I got to deal with my own problems. I got to deal with my own family. I can't deal with what's going on there. I don't have time. And then, like right now, very important. How they see us. The Central Park 5 story is on.
Oh, I want to see that.
And-
I've already heard, I've read that whole story. I was talking to Kevin about it. That is an unbelievable story where those kids were railroaded, and one of the kids was like is not mentally not so high.
He wasn't as educated, and he was very naive, but he was a very loyal kid. It looks like he was. The story is that he was never like he was skipping school. He was a young kid skipping school.
Yeah,
it's not that he was mentally whatever. He was skipping school. He wasn't in, and they took him. He was
Wait a
waiting
minute.
to
They
see the
didn't-
kid.
They didn't rape this girl?
no.
So
You didn't
who
hear the
raped?
story?
The guy came
No.
forward.
No, he came forward. He was
One
in prison.
guy?
One guy.
Yeah, he was.
One
in,
guy did this.
He was in prison, and years later, he felt so bad about it because these 5 kids had spent 10 years.
And there was no DNA on the
in
kids.
jail,
And they took
and they came for. He came forward.
14-year-old kids, and the police railroaded the. So they did the story. Now here's the interesting.
Diane Feinstein.
So
What's her
when
name? Diane
there was
Feinstein,
no
the prosecutor.
Yes.
She
Wait
was
a
in
minute. There
charge
was
of that.
no DNA found of the other kids in
No.
her.
Nope.
No,
So it was just the one guy that got busted.
it was no. All 5 of them went to jail.
But I mean, he was the one that did.
The one
Yeah.
guy came
he
forward and
beat
said he
her
did
with
it.
He
Yeah,
beat
He
beat
beat
her
her
with
with
a
a pipe and he
rock.
raped her.
and they watched.
And
No, they weren't there.
They weren't there.
So
they were
how
in
did they find
They
out?
were on the
rounded
other
them
side of the
up.
park,
They
and there was a
rounded them
bunch
up.
of kids who were hanging out in the park, and they rounded them up, and they
Here's the
literally
thing.
rounded them up. And it's really, and see, the thing is, if white America would watch this story, if white and here's the thing, I have friends that white and black, some are saying it's too hard to watch. It's something that's important because once people can see how, like, when you can feel this and see this, and the way this was done was so tactfully done and beautifully put together as a series, as hard as it is to stomach, things stop. People become aware. People are good people. I don't think people ever. I mean, there's some people who like being racist, but they're pretty much, they're not. You know what I mean? There's some people who like to feel like someone is
what
beneath
happened
them.
with that prosecutor, Diane Feinstein or whatever her
Mm-hmm.
name was. She was trying to move up in the world and in politics or whatever the hell she was in. And I think she thought, look, we're gonna tie this up with a bow. We're gonna get rid of the people who were outraged that this woman was raped and it was the Puerto Rican Day parade or what?
No,
what
it
was
wasn't. It wasn't. They were kids. It was the first
She
day of
was just
spring. They're out
jogging.
of school.
Oh, it was nothing. It was no parade. It was just
Yeah,
the thing.
no.
Yeah.
And what happened was the kids were walking through the park. They were all goofing around, and a couple of kids got into some tuffles with a couple of bicyclists. But there was like 50 kids in the park.
And they were really young. These were
They
like
were
15, 16, 14. Yeah,
14 kids
Yeah,
that
yeah.
never even
So
had sex
how
before.
old was the guy that raped her?
He was a little bit older. He was older. I can't remember. I'm waiting. I'm supposed to watch the
Well,
last episode
he
tonight.
almost killed her. She doesn't remember any of it.
No, she doesn't remember
no
any of it.
memory. He was in jail for something else when he
And the
finally
DNA came
admitted
back,
to
and the
it.
DNA
Yeah.
came back.
Yeah. So back then
But
they didn't
back
have
then
DNA.
they didn't have the DNA.
They
Like,
did have the DNA. They hid the DNA, that they had nothing on them, and they had some DNA
didn't know
that
they hid the
proved
DNA.
that it didn't match him, and they hid it. It was DNA in a sock that they came
so
forward.
now they
with.
got awarded money, correct?
Yeah, but they lost their lives, and they beat
lost
one
their
of
lives.
them. One of
And
the
not
kids.
only
One
that-
of the kids they isolated and abused him so badly that, I mean, there's no way you can. Trump took $85,000 and paid for ads to have the kids killed before they even tried.
Yeah, did
he
you
put a
remember that
bounty
ad?
on their
he
head.
put an ad out that these kids should be
When?
killed.
Back then.
Back in the day, he took out a big ad. It was terrible.
They used the video. They actually used the footage of what he said. They used the actual footage of him.
Yeah, yeah.
And these
Wait,
kids
and he
had
said
everybody.
what? What did he say?
The kids
said
should
they're
be
guilty.
They're guilty, and they need to be killed.
Whoever raped her.
This
No,
is this
those
is
5 Central Park
well,
boys.
he might have thought
before-
that they were.
Yeah, but they weren't tried yet. He
I
had
know, but
no
I'm-
right to put
So
that.
what happened
get
was
it.
the
I
entire
understand what
city,
you're saying,
the
but-
entire city went nuts after he said he knew they did it. So these young boys are literally 14-year-old kids who never even had sex before are being dragged into this courtroom with people screaming that they want them killed.
It's horrible.
I mean, you're going to go to prison for rape. And
How
people
much
say-
time did they do?
I think they like.
Over 10 years, 15 years, 10 years.
Yeah,
whatever
like
it was.
I think one of it was like some of them got off like 6, one of them it's like I said, I'm watching the last episode, but I'll be honest with you, I never I have cousins, female cousins that the cops walked up and slapped, that the cops walked up and harassed. I think the first time, because I know I don't live this experience, I was in D.C. with one of the most like tough, manly, you're safe when you roll with comedians, Tony Woods.
Oh yeah.
We drive over the Virginia line. The cops pull us over because we're both in the car. I've never seen him so hands on the wheel. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes. I've never watched him have to switch. And then the second time, we were driving on 125th Street, and the cops pulled him over for a taillight that was out and locked him up for the weekend.
What do you mean they locked him up?
For a taillight being out.
They almost beat the shit out of Keith Robinson. One night, Rachel told me it was Keith Robinson, Kevin Hart. The cops pull him over, and the BMW's like, "Whose car is that?" He's like, "It's mine." "What do you do?" "What are you, a drug dealer?" So he pulls
Oh,
him
my
out,
God.
and he threw him on the floor. He was frisking him, and they were like, "What the fuck?" But that also happened to me once, going to a gig in Pennsylvania. I had a boyfriend that was covered in tattoos from here to here.
Yeah.
Biker.
Mm-hmm.
He goes, step out of the car. And I'm like, because we just made a U-turn and it was illegal.
Mm-hmm.
Step out of the car. The guy was in plain clothes. He gets out of
Plain
the
clothes. That would be like, I don't even know who you are. Did he flash the badge?
He had the and they had the badges, whatever.
Okay.
He gets him out of the car. He fucking throws him on the hood of the car, and grabs.
Is this
I go,
Frank?
what the? No, Frank D'Amico. Do you remember Frank D'Amico?
Mm-mm,
Big
mm-mm.
Frank D'Amico.
Comic.
He's a comic. He's in the passenger seat. I'm in the back because Frank was too fat to sit in the back of my. I had a
Frank D'Amico
Firebird,
was gigantic.
Firebird formula, and all of a sudden I stick my head out. I go, "Excuse me, what did we do?"
Mm-hmm.
And my boyfriend's face was like red. He goes, "Get in the fucking car," because apparently he had his balls in his hands and he was squeezing them.
Who
Because
was squeezing whose balls?
The cop was squeezing my boyfriend's balls.
Why was he squeezing his balls?
I don't know. So then he goes, step out, everybody get out of the car. So they checked the car for drugs. Frank D'Amico was doing a lot of talking. He was like, we're comedians, we're going to a show. I do a lot of policeman benefit, but, so then they finally let us go. But at that moment, I was like, this guy could have shot us, killed us, and see you later. We're dead on the road. No one's going to know anything. So, it's very scary when cops get not like are fucked up like that.
But here's the thing too: is
'Cause
that
they're
a lot
good
of my
cops, too.
rock
Yeah, I have to
a
say-
lot of my rock and roll friends, they've had those incidents. But when you are a little boy, like the little boy that they shot in Cleveland, like there's almost every single day I'm posting two black people randomly killed. The woman who he stunned the woman. Another one where he stun gunned the woman who was pregnant, and she said, "I'm pregnant," and she's shouting on the video, "I'm pregnant." He stuns her, so she grabs the thing and stuns him back. He pulls up and he unloads 6 shots in her. These are not like people who were shot him in the leg, accidentally shot him in the head. These are stories every single day that we're getting them lock and loading over a million times over some
They do
kid.
kill white people too. They kill white people too. I think cops should be reevaluated every 6 months.
They do, but it's not like it's not. Listen, throughout history, the KKK when they did Black Reconstruction, what they did after slavery, they threw in Congress a bunch of black people to represent the South. After that, the KKK surged. The KKK has always been their main thing is to keep black people from voting. It's been going on forever. This is part of big parts of the police station. This is, I mean, and as an Italian, like let's talk about Serpico. I mean, this is a guy who knew how dirty everybody was on the take. So there's a bunch of guys that might go in. It might be like show business, or it might be like politics. A lot of people go in, they want to help, and then you end up in a system that what is a good cop going to do? Is he going to risk his life and family
Well,
because
I agree
somebody's
that
doing
there
something dirty
There are
too?
bad cops, but coming from a family of cops,
Of
I
white people.
I have to say that my sister-in-law is a fantastic cop, and she protects people, and she's and
Yes, there are. But
and
somebody
Kevin's
just wrote.
father was the chief of
Somebody
police.
just wrote. This is a depressing show.
Yeah.
See, nobody wants to hear the truth, or nobody wants to hear the.
Yeah, I mean, look.
Yeah, what it
Here's
is.
the thing.
Let's see.
But here's the thing. Everyone go. Look. Here's the thing. Well, there's some good cops. But what about these kids? It's like it doesn't stop if we just keep going. There's just good cops, because the cops aren't the ones who are as slandered as 400 years of the black community. And I'm sorry, white people that are listening that are feeling like this is a depressing topic, but and as opposed, see, that's the thing is people don't want to hear things that might help us get better because they don't want to hear stuff because it's
No, I want to hear everything.
in my neighborhood, cops were nice to me.
I personally think cops should be evaluated every 6 months. If you see that the guy's a little off, got to pull him off the job, put him on a desk.
Yeah, we could do something funny now. We can get off the topic.
Let's talk about Carrie's favorite question. No, I'm kidding. Carrie's question.
What's my question? Have you ever fucked an animal?
No, not that one. So you have a boyfriend? What do you have?
We broke up right when I came out here.
So you never wanted to get married, have kids?
No, I keep dating crazy men.
Yeah, that's
Why
not
is
good.
that? Because your father's crazy.
No. I don't know. I used to date
crazy men, and then I stopped.
I dated one crazy person, but it isn't
Okay.
because I wanted to. It's because they stalked me into it.
I hate those guys.
Yeah, they just stalk you into it. Like I have a joke about like Italian men. They're like, you're with me. I'm like, no, I don't like you. Oh, she's a feisty one. No, I don't like you.
They wear
Well,
you
you
down.
dated-
They wear you down.
She dated this one guy, Kenny, right?
Yeah.
He
yeah.
was a boxer.
Yes.
Was he like a champion or something? He fought like Jerry Cooney or somebody?
No, he lost every fight, but he was a bodyguard
He was
after
a
that.
tough motherfucker.
He was big redneck.
When
Yeah.
was this? Back when
Back
you
in the
still-
cellar
back in the
days.
day.
And
Okay.
So
that's
my-
why I am no longer became a comedian because I ended up quitting comedy after I was banned out of all.
Okay, so here's what
Wait,
happened.
you were not
She
banned.
she's putting together a documentary of stand up.
Okay.
And like the whole thing, she's doing it for 2 years. She's got interviews with who you got everybody. You got Richard Pryor,
George Carlin,
George Carlin.
Phyllis Diller,
You were
Everybody.
Ray Romano,
interviewing
Chevy
them.
Chase.
You're interviewing these people.
Yeah, I was doing
Yeah,
my comedy
2
club.
years.
Yeah.
How was George Carlin? You know, I love George Carlin.
He actually tried to help me a lot. He really spent a lot of time. He went out and he promoted our film. He said it was the best
What,
film
did your-
ever done
Did
on
your
comedy.
film go out?
Everybody stopped it.
What do you mean
What
everybody?
happened
stopped it?
was
Go ahead.
ass bag Jerry fucking Seinfeld
Harry does not like Jerry Seinfeld. Go ahead.
comes in with the movie Comedian.
Right. The same year that yours was coming
well,
out?
I started mine, and
She
then
started hers for 2 years. She was doing
Okay.
it.
about a year, and then
Oh,
he
was
came
it
in.
1
He was
year?
about a year, but I was in and out, and they all watched me come in and out, even him.
Yeah, every day she was there filming. He comes in now with a fucking camera crew. He gets the idea probably from her.
Yes.
And this tells her you're not allowed to film anymore. When she was filming for a year at the cellar, you were in Montreal. You filmed in Montreal. You were in L.A. You filmed in L.A.
Yeah, and then so then my the boyfriend who was a producer who
This
usually
was
was
the
a straighten
best.
out guy.
This was
he
the
said he was
best.
going to go down to the club. And he's going to talk to Colin Quinn because he's buddies with Colin from back in the day. And he'll talk to Colin and make sure I don't have any trouble at the club because they threw me out of the club. I didn't want to lose my spots.
So what happened? Your boyfriend comes in. I was there. That
I wasn't
night.
there
Oh God!
What do
I
you
was
mean? He
there.
went in looking for Jerry Seinfeld?
He
First
goes
of all,
in.
to talk to Colin.
It's Colin, Jerry, and somebody. I don't remember who was at the fucking table.
Okay.
He goes, "I'm gonna fucking kill you." And
Your
I was like,
boyfriend said this? Were you there, Carrie? Were you there?
Yes. It was the best. But
And what did Jerry say?
well, I think he shit himself because Jerry's not a fighter, obviously.
Yeah, I think I could take Jerry. I mean, let's be honest.
No, but you know his attitude is just such a sucky one, especially when you're a comedian. You should feel for other comedians. I never look at a comic. I don't give a shit if you're an open micer or if you're a fucking headliner. I never look at you any differently.
Yeah.
You understand? This guy looks down at everybody. You know, like he's just
So what
whatever.
happened?
Well, I
So
just
what
I just heard
happened
I heard
was-
he was going to talk to Colin. He just said, I'm going to go down and talk to Colin and make sure you don't lose
Well,
your
it didn't
spots.
work out that way.
Didn't work out that way.
Then the cops got called.
Wait a minute.
and-
Wait a minute. The cops. So is that why you stopped working at the cellar?
This was, yeah. They won't even let me now. And they allow him down there. They're like Crazy Kenny down there. But I wasn't even there.
And they still
You
won't let you
weren't
work there?
That's
wasn't
right.
there.
That's so fucked up. You called Esty and she said no?
Yeah, I actually talked to Manny's wife, and I said to her, you know, now I walked to the block. They shoved me off. They shoo me off the block. I think the Italian last name made them think that I you know. Meanwhile, I was up there crying like I don't want to lose my spots at the cellar.
Oh, my God.
And then it turned into, oh, you made him go down there and chase Jerry out.
But that's not what happened. He was a hot-headed guy that was like, "Fuck this guy."
But wait, I don't
I would have done the same thing if I was the boyfriend.
Well, you would have done that even as the girlfriend, Carrie. Carrie can beat up anybody.
I mean, you know, like, what's the big deal that you're filming? Or at least say it in a nice way. Say, listen, on the nights that I'm here, please don't be here.
So wait a minute. Where's the film now? Why don't you release it now? Like, what's the problem now to release it?
Please release it. I used to be hot. And I'm in it.
People,
Everybody's
people
like,
give-
who is that?
people give her
Like
a
they
hard
distract. It's supposed to be like the middle of like the most dramatic scene, and they all stop and go, "Who's that?" I'm like, "Hello, could you watch the rest of the movie?" I kind of just, you know what? I've been so nervous about. I just want to get back out. I want to get back. You know, people use that a lot of ways to say that I cause trouble in comedy. So I didn't want to. So I
I
kind
mean,
of
you
hit
don't
out.
seem like a troublemaker.
and I got.
Let's.
I'm not. I'm a
No, you're
total
not.
wimp.
Yeah.
So-
I think you should release it now.
Well, we'll see. We'll
I
see.
think you should, man.
Release
It was good work.
Release it by saying that this would have been out a long time ago, but Jerry Seinfeld stopped it from happening.
Somebody wrote, I never liked Jerry S. either. Who does? He's rude to everybody.
Actually, he was.
And he never put me on cars, coffee, and
What happened
okay,
with
we're not famous enough to go on that. Let's be honest.
I don't know. What would I talk about with him anyway?
I've never
Yeah.
watched that show. I've never watched
Yeah, he
it.
was mean to Carrie though when she went down to host. He was like nasty to her. He was just not nice to people.
Danny McKenna writes, "Wow, just 2 weeks ago, the topic was stanky snatches, and now it's
Stanky.
politics.
You were still talking about stanky fucking snatches,
We can
Jerry.
still talk about stanky snatches. Calm the
That's
fuck
what
down,
happens when
Danny
when
McKenna.
I show up on a show. It always becomes like very, very multi-layered. Sorry.
Angela Scott is watching. Angela, I just talked about you having a white baby that turned brown later. If you're still watching,
I had a
Angela
black
Scott.
baby that turned lighter later. My son came out white.
Yeah.
No hair, hairless. And of course, my freaking daughter, I had heartburn with her, and I was crying every day thinking she's going to be a hairy animal like my husband. And the doctor's like, no, that's a myth. That's bullshit. That's an old wives' tale. And I'm like, are you sure? I have heartburn. And then all of a sudden I gave birth, and I saw like a sheet. First of all, she goes, oh, this is a hairy baby. And I was like, what? Let me see it. I couldn't see it.
It's like Rosemary's Baby when the devil comes
What
out
the
of the
fuck?
vagina.
The baby comes out. It looked like a spider monkey. You know the little monkeys with the
Yes.
spider
Oh,
hair?
God, yes.
It had black hair like this. She had a sheet of fur over her back, her arms, her legs.
That was terrible.
Black. It was jet black hair. And then she had dark skin. Like she looked like almost like an Eskimo baby
That's
or
what
like a
Mexican.
or
had
a Mexican.
My first kid came out like a regular little white baby. My second kid came out with a red-brown face. Like she looked a completely different color to me, and pitch black, straight hair, and a lot of it, like a little Eskimo Mexican baby. And I was like just saying to the nurse, are you sure that's mine? And she goes, oh, stop it. You know, you're being, I go, this baby doesn't look how my other baby looked. Like I got
How
like
about
could
this?
they have
How about-
switched my baby?
How about when they took her out of me and I saw her and I'm crying with the fur. I saw the fur. I didn't care that she was black. And my husband looks at me. I go, look what you fucking did.
That's hilarious.
Fucking
Look what you
baby's
did to
hairy.
your fucking daughter.
And I'm crying.
She's
They
not
took the
hairy
baby
now, though.
away, and I was hysterical. And the doctor goes to me, she's gonna shed the fur. She's gonna shed it. It's just baby fur. I go, what do you mean? What do you mean she's gonna shed the
They do
fur?
shed
I'm
it.
gonna stab this motherfucker.
You're
my
hilarious.
older daughter was born with a
She
full
didn't shed it, okay?
She's not hairy
She's
now.
13,
Don't
and we're
even
at
say
the
that about
European Wax Center every fucking week.
The
That's
European
hilarious.
Well,
That's look at her.
All
You're
my
so
kids,
funny.
we all did the what do you call it? What's that thing where they stick the
Electrolysis?
electrolysis? Thank you. Why can't
Yeah,
I
but
think
you know,
of
my
words?
daughter, though, she goes in the sun, in 1 second, she's black.
Wow.
Me and my son are sunblock 30.
Well,
We're
that's
still
how
getting burnt.
My ex-husband is very dark because he's Italian, so he goes in the sun. He always pick vacation spots where he could tan, and then I would just get boils of fucking.
My father's
Irish people can't go
my
in the
father's
sun.
very, very, very tan.
Yeah, he's
tan.
Italian.
Oh, just as an add-on, so that I don't look like I brought a crazy person to a comedy club that I dated.
Oh,
I
yeah.
met him at the Cellar because he was trying to do comedy. He was Jason Steinberg's client and still is Jason
I do
Steinberg's
remember
client.
that.
Wait,
I
who
do.
I met him through Lisa Lampanelli. He wasn't some guy I met on the street and brought to the club that he went down and started a fight.
Yeah, so
this
you
guy was
shouldn't have
part of the
been-
comedy
you shouldn't
club
have been-
world.
No, you know what it was? You were so upset, I think. I remember you were crying.
I was crying.
You were crying, and he
terrible.
saw
They were
his
gonna lose my
girl.
son.
He saw his girl upset.
He was
didn't even
trying to
see me.
fix
He was on the
things.
phone.
Right, he heard his girl upset, and he was like, I'm going to go fucking bash his face in.
Yeah, that's it. I
But
think
he
that's a good thing
you
for
know
a
what?
boyfriend.
That's a man, you know.
Yeah, I
That's a
think
man.
that's. I don't think that's bad what he did, but I just think why did you have to pay for it? You know what I mean? Is he
Yeah,
a
that
comic,
was
the guy?
that wasn't
He was trying to do comedy.
that
at the
wasn't
time.
good. Are you still friends with him?
No, he's crazy. I can't be around crazy people.
So
he
when
he
did
does
you
the same thing to me as he did to Jerry Seinfeld.
when did you
constantly.
break? Oh my God!
So
When did you
wait.
break up with him?
After that, but then we were stuck in a film. It's like having a baby.
What do you mean you're stuck in a film?
But
Oh,
it's
that
your
movie you
film.
were doing the movie with
We
him.
were doing the film, so we
Oh,
made the
shit.
film. Yeah, and then it's my film. It's
Did you
technically
lose
it's
money
my
on
film.
that? Did you
yeah, I
lose-
lost everything.
Oh,
I lost my
fuck.
career, my finances, my father's, some of his retirement.
You shouldn't have let them fucking put
No,
you
but
down.
you know what? I believe God will make that film because you've got some serious footage of
It can
these
still,
people
you can still use
that
it
no one
later.
has.
Yeah, use it
Yeah,
later.
everyone's dead.
Do you have Chappelle in
Everyone's
it
dead?
too?
No, actually, I
You
don't
never
have
got
Chappelle.
Chappelle.
Who do you
'cause
have
he-
I have Chappelle as on my Def Jam. I use a clip of him.
But
Oh,
he
yeah.
wasn't.
introducing
He
me.
wasn't in. He wasn't in the scene at that time around us.
No, Dave was not talking to me then.
He wasn't
That
talking
was
to
another
you?
story, but we can talk off
Wait,
camera. on
did
that
he
one.
try and? Oh, you would do it off camera.
Yeah,
that's
off
our
camera,
best
fine.
story. Come
Yeah.
on, that sounds like a good one.
Oh, it's just so crazy.
Did he try and go out with you? Was that
Yeah,
the
we were
problem?
like, we were kind of like puppy lovish type kids.
Oh.
You know, but he was very gentlemanly. We never sealing the deal.
Yeah,
He
No
was sweet. He used to
sex.
hold my hand and play little saxophone and stuff like that. Sweet guy.
while
and then
you were
his-
both doing comedy.
Yeah, and then his friend went after me and literally attacked me in my apartment, and I filed a police report on the kid. And
So
my
that he-
buddy, another comedian, Tony Carboni, went to the club and beat the guy up in front of the club.
I remember Tony. How is he?
Tony Carboni dragged him out and beat him up at the Boston Comedy Club, and then this kid was staying with Dave, and so when he came back, he told Dave that I slept with him, and then Dave decided never to speak to me again.
But the guy hadn't. He had attacked
He attacked
you.
me. I went to the police report, so Tony came up. Then Tony
he
went to-
raped you, or he got on you?
No, he's little, so
So you
it was
fought him.
You were
devastating.
tough.
It was devastating.
Bullshit, you
no,
were tough.
No, it was devastating. I was really up. Tony, I was shook to get him out of my house. But the thing is, he was little, so like if there was a security camera playback, it's kind of funny because he's a little guy, but he was
And you
really
threw him
aggressive.
off.
Yeah.
I got
Carrie had a
attacked
guy
once.
attack her, and she threw him off.
I didn't. He was a fucking fat fuck, and I really.
Oh,
at what,
that's a hard one. This guy
now,
was little. This guy was little.
At one point, I was almost said, "Holy shit, I might get raped here." At one point, just for a split second, then I was like, "I ain't getting raped here," because I couldn't even get my pants off. Let alone they were so fucking tight. This guy was not getting my pants off.
That is
You have to
hilarious.
cut a hole.
That's
And
hilarious. That is hilarious.
He had to like.
Well, it's hard being and people don't realize. Now we're going.
But
to the
this
topic,
is
just being a
this is
female
now
comedian.
this is somebody that was working. We were working together, so
Ugh.
this was
Someone
pretty
in
bad.
the business.
And somebody in the business, and they go to me, "Why don't you meet to him?" I'm like, "No."
See, I feel like you should. Why not?
Yeah, I had one lawsuit that was enough for me, and that was years ago. I was a kid when I started making the film. That's when it all came together. I was making the film because of I had to deal with people.
But
didn't
you
want,
can't even
they didn't
talk
want to.
after a lawsuit. That's the problem.
They did
with
well.
lawsuits.
They didn't pay me after. Well, they
Oh,
didn't pay.
you didn't win?
I know. They settled my contract. I just settled. It's one of my contract. So yeah. So that was a nightmare.
I have something I can't even talk about. I can't even talk about it. But
How long ago was it? I think
Mi-
it's done.
it's a million years ago.
It's a million years ago. The contract's done.
I don't think so. I'm supposed to be quiet for the rest of my fucking life.
Oh yeah.
That's what it said.
Mine
I
says
don't know, I
they give
gotta
me.
find
Mine
it.
says mine says I got to pay him $100 every time I mention it.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
Mine
really?
said I
Yeah,
have
but
to
you
pay
can
the
see
whole
mine.
thing back.
I don't have to say it, but I can Google the story and you can read it from
Oh,
New York
really?
Magazine.
Well, that's really the truth of it. Anybody who really wants to find anything about what
Yeah.
happened, it's out there.
Yeah,
Everything's
exactly.
out there. You don't have to say anything.
Yeah, I have to say nothing. So it was crazy. So it was just like nonstop crazy, and I just wanted to be funny. You just want to be funny. You want to work. You want to pay your bills.
So
And
wait a
that's why
minute.
it's-
So you never, you don't want to have kids. You don't want to be married.
No, I didn't want to not have kids. They're all like, okay, I had crazy guy for a while, right?
You had a
and
crazy guy.
And then I went to the last guy I have been with. I think he'd been in Hollywood too long. So
What was crazy about that one?
he's really like he's just up and down with the work.
Oh,
You
so
know what I mean?
can't
So
date
his
a-
date
you
is
can't
up
date
and
Yeah,
someone
you
down.
can't.
in
You got to date like a
business.
stockbroker.
You need a real guy.
No, this is what happens when I date a stockbroker. Oh, sure, you were funny. You really a comedian? It's okay. You don't have to be a comedian. Do you really know Dave Chappelle? You don't know Dave Chappelle.
Oh, well,
Do you
can't
really
have
know
those
such
assholes.
and such? You know such and such.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, like you can't like you.
Right.
They look at you like you were just some hanger on at the club that had a cocktail,
Right.
as opposed to a competitive female.
There are some
So
real
it's-
guys who have dated girl
Okay,
comics.
I've been living in West Hollywood.
Okay, you got to
Okay, I've been
enough.
living. I could literally be a perfect blonde with big boobs and nothing. Nothing. I'm in West Hollywood. So
No,
I found
you
one.
can't
I found one guy that I liked the last 4 years, which I just got. It was a 4-year thing, and I came here, and he's kind of like,
Okay.
oh, you're moving on. You're moving. I'm like, no,
Yeah.
I'm trying to tell jokes. Which you're the one. He actually got me back into my comedy career. So now I'm back into the
But you
career
should have
he
never
told me to
stopped because
do.
you're hilarious.
And he's the one who forced me back into the comedy career, and then now he's acting all weird and
Well, aren't you done with him? You're out here now, right? You're not going back. Are you going back?
I'm trying to live in both places. I'm not, but he's crazy. I got to find. I
you
like
haven't broken up with him yet?
No, we broke up. We broke up. We had
Good.
a big
Maybe
you
fight.
should see
a
the
big
show.
fight.
No, it's like
Wait.
you can't
You-
date guys in LA. They're like airheads, like the women in LA. It's like
yeah.
Manhattan guys. Think that supermodels coming around the corner
And,
every.
and the truth is, guys in Manhattan, right, Adam? You can pretty much fuck anybody you want.
And this guy,
You
I thought
can
he
fuck
was.
anyone you want.
I thought
Adam,
the
is
guy
that
was,
correct?
I thought the
I
guy
mean-
was a little calmer because he was an older guy. So I thought he seemed like he was calm on a lot of fronts.
Yeah.
But then he's just, I think he's been in Hollywood too long, and Hollywood makes you crazy, especially if you have success. Then you have 2,000 hoochies, and people are crazy, and then they lie, and so like you just end up a little.
So you made the
end up, like,
sacrifice.
you end up. It becomes like a little baddie. That's a maddening city. I don't think anybody in L.A. that stays there for a long time that
Is
is
normal.
in show business can really stay
Normal.
normal. Like
I don't
here,
know.
it's
You know,
different.
I saw a girl. There's a girl comic, Sue Kolinsky, who went out there, and I don't know, she had some kooky boyfriend for a while, but she's now married. She's a normal life. Everything's good. I think it was a guy that.
But
unless
she
I'm re-
moved out of L.A.?
A guy who she went to high school with, or that she knew from like 30 years ago. You know, like had one of those kind
That's
of
an
relationships.
exception.
I guess.
She actually said, "All right, I'll take an older guy. Maybe this will work." She even dropped her standards.
Older
and the guy
guys
still-
can be good, but see the problem with like New York,
No, I like brilliant men. My problem is I really like brilliant men. I like somebody I
almost
can have a
choked.
conversation
go
with.
a little less brilliant.
No, the
and a
problem
little
is
nicer.
I've gone around. It's just I have a very fast brain, and I get bored very easily. So if
Me
you're not
too.
a little quirky and a little bit super smart and a little bit funny, then
Me too.
And then I date a guy who's white, and then it turns out he's a little racist, or his mother's a little racist, and they
Oh,
try to
that's
tell me I got to
horrible.
be somebody else. I got to be.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
horrible.
that's bullshit.
And you date black guys too. You date everything. You
yeah,
date everything.
Yeah, everybody's got a little bit of a weird issue. Everybody's got a little bit of a weird issue. So that's also a hard thing for people
Yeah,
to
that's
not.
true.
I don't want somebody arguing with me about who I am. Nothing worse than a guy's like, "What are you? I'm Italian and black." No, you're not.
Why do you?
Well,
feel-
look, my niece.
Well, you don't
look
you're
it.
one of the lucky ones. I could hardly tell.
You know, I don't need to hear stuff like
That's
that.
fucking
Yeah, so it's-
stupid.
yeah, it's crazy.
My niece married a black guy, had
Okay.
2 children.
Yes.
Her daughter looks Indian, and her son looks light
Yeah,
but
you know-
black. But
yeah.
you could tell he's black. But so it's like that. Those comments, like, well, thank God you don't look it.
You know, maybe you
Yeah,
can
like,
find
and then-
Fuck out of
a,
here.
a
you try
guy
to-
who's also half black and half
I did, and I do a piece
That would
on
be
it.
the
I met,
perfect
but
guy
he had
for
a
you.
white mother, and he was totally. It was you don't realize the difference between mothers. Like if you have a black mother, you have a very different root than white mothers. You're almost a totally different. You're a totally different animal.
Wait, what's a black mother?
Black mothers are very strong, tell you the truth. You gotta be straight in front, and blah blah blah. Very
But
strong.
they'll tell
and
you you're
powerful.
great.
And they'll tell. My mother was as sweet as can be. My mother was the most loving woman. There was
Ah.
no, and actually, I felt this with most black women that I've ever known. The most loving, kindest, like will see you through anything. Just
Yeah.
loving. Where I see like some white parents are a little more standoffish with their kids. They won't put you.
Patty's mother.
Yeah.
Yeah,
you
my
know,
mother was a little
bit
cool.
more cold.
Little cool. At the end, she was good.
Yeah.
Before she
no,
died.
my mother used to
she
sing
came
to
around.
me and too many kisses, and she was
Oh, my
just
mother
We
never-
never had.
mother.
My
never
mother.
rocking
hugged.
you. If
Carrie,
you're
you don't have a huggy kissy mother.
Yeah,
My mother's not a huggy kissy because her mother's mother died young, and her mother had to be the oldest of the kids, had to take care of all the kids. So she was like maybe 12 years old when she had to take care of her siblings. So she never had that huggy mother. So my mother wasn't a huggy.
Yeah, they learn
And
it
now
from-
I'm not a huggy.
You're not a huggy mother? Oh, my God, I'm a huggy
that's why I think some
kissy
I
mother.
think some cultures are a little bit different. With like I said, the black culture is very, 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 very lovey. You got so many. Everybody's very. It's a lot warm. Like
How
it's a
about
lot.
God?
You go in, you'll pick up some like I'll go to like my ex-boyfriend's house, go to his mother's house. Next
Right.
thing you know, you got to stay. There's tons of food. It's like it's just
Yeah.
love you. Whereas
What about the
Look who it is.
Who is it?
Take a look.
Oh, my
Lori.
Oh
goodness.
my God, we've asked you to come on our show, Missy.
Lori, come on. We
Yes.
love you. I love you too. I haven't seen you in forever, and you look the same.
Do you know Maija DiGiorgio?
Yes. Oh my God! I didn't even. Hey, how are you?
She doesn't have the big
I don't have
the
my
big
hair out
hairs,
today.
so
I
you didn't
can't do it today.
recognize her.
How's it going?
Good, great. Comedy's been great.
Are you
You're
here
working.
or in L.A.?
I'm back and forth.
Back and
I've been here
forth.
for a week because of hiatus week.
You look gorgeous.
Fabulous.
Absolutely.
You have kids?
I have one. He's 12.
Oh, that's good. My daughter's 12. They can get married.
That's why I came here. I wanted to finally arrange that.
It's time.
You gotta do. We had somebody go. You gotta get
Lori
you
Kilmartin.
on our Lori Kilmartin. If people haven't, go say hello into our camera.
Yeah, camera's
It's
right
right there.
Right there.
Right
Can
here.
they see you
right
right
here.
there? That's going to be.
A
They're
real
going to see your
close-up,
nostril
yeah.
hairs.
That's
Watch
gonna
out
be
on
a
that
funny
one. Yes, they go, you should get her on. I go, all right, I'll ask. And then I didn't hear anything back. And I go, oh, shit, I don't think. Maybe it's because we're called two tired twats. Is that bad?
No, not at all. That's to me on
Oh, all right. Okay.
And of course, I love the word twat.
Yes, twat's a great word.
Yeah.
Well, we need more girls on our show. We got you today. We have a lot of guys on our show, but we need more girls. So if you ever
Well, whenever you
want
want, every Tuesday we.
Oh, that's cool. I'm not often here on Tuesdays, so that's probably why.
Do you want me to move over?
Ah!
I can move over. Move over, Bacon.
She's
now there's
going
something
on.
media.
She's
She's going on, but it was nice seeing you.
Very funny.
Great seeing
And
you
you
too.
had the best. What show was that where you opened with the jerking off joke? Is the
Conan.
funniest Conan? What's the joke? Do the joke very quick. What's it? Wait. Get a mic. There it is.
Oh, okay.
This is my favorite opening joke.
I-
Opening joke.
My son. What is it again? Hold
You
on.
go. My son was in his room.
Oh no, my son. He's 10 years old. We've had
teenager.
multiple discussions on masturbation etiquette at 10 years old. I was like, please do not knock on mom's door when she's masturbating. That's my time.
great
Get your own
fucking-
goddamn apple juice.
That's a fucking great
That is
joke.
great.
Brilliant. I like anyone who opens on a TV show, TV credit. That's the first thing they tell you. Don't do a masturbation joke. Don't do this. And you open with you masturbating as a mother. Like that.
I know. For some reason,
That crosses every line. Why did they let you get away with that? I'm amazed.
We're not allowed to touch ourselves.
I know. Yeah, I mean, I don't now, but
Right.
that's because I'm disgusted by myself.
Anyway.
I'll let you guys finish.
All right.
Okay, goodbye.
It was
Thank you,
great
Lori
seeing you.
Kilmartin, for doing our 3 minutes of our show.
Somebody, JP Justice goes, I'm going to go throw vinegar on those twats. Fuck you, JP.
JP, why are you going to throw vinegar on us? Because
JP
we
can't
smell?
even get me to use those words. He
Do you
gets
know
all,
JP
like-
Justice?
Yes, I came up with him. He
Oh,
was
you
my-
did?
Yeah, he was one of my first
We should have
people
the
that
two
told
of
me
you.
I wasn't funny.
No, we
Oh,
did
no
not.
way.
He would always be like, "You're not funny. You're not funny." It was so
They
hard.
were so jealous of you.
You might. So when I was young, I was like, he was one of the people I felt like I was like, "Oh no, he's at the show. I'm going to bomb."
Real,
Isn't
now
that
I hear,
horrible?
Yeah,
I hear JP was quite the ladies' man back in the
He
day.
was very. He's always been. He's still handsome.
He's
very
still handsome, yes, but he was like a pretty boy back in the day.
Yeah,
I
he's
hear.
always been very pretty. But
He's got the blue eyes with the and
yeah,
he's 8 feet tall.
Yeah, he's very yellow though, and I come from.
does yellow mean?
He's a yellow black person.
What
so
does that mean, yellow
I come
black?
I come from all yellow, so he's a little too yellow for me. We'd be too yellow around each other. So
I don't know
yeah.
what yellow means.
You don't know what yellow means?
What does
His
yellow
skin
mean?
tone
Light
is yellow.
skin.
That's because he
Yeah.
likes the dark women. Adam does, so
What-
he knows
Yeah,
what
yellow,
it is.
yellow's a little light for me.
Yeah,
He
yeah,
doesn't
yeah.
like
He's a little,
he doesn't
I
like
come
white
from all
women. He
yellow
likes big
people.
asses.
Everybody in my family looks like him. So
He likes brown with a big ass. But yeah, really. Okay, let's see
he
what
looks like my
anybody else
brother.
is saying.
He could
Yeah,
be my
that's
brother.
Not good. That's not good.
Oh, Dan Karen. Hi, Dan. You guys should do a podcast with Maija and Lori called Four Exhausted Coochies.
No, I don't.
She's
I,
not
I'm
exhausted.
not an exhaust. I don't. I'm
Maya's saying that she's not as old as we are. So
And
I
Well,
No,
no,
I-
she's
I
not
am
as
not-
old as
I-
us.
and-
A,
and I, I'm not exhausted.
because she never had kids.
your coochie's still going strong. Mine. Hey, I banged last night. Everybody, I'm just telling you.
Ugh, I'm gonna throw
Monday
up.
night, it's Jeopardy, it's Antiques Roadshow,
Ew.
and then I fuck my husband.
I'm
That's
gonna
my
throw
Monday night.
up.
Antique Roadshow.
Antique Roadshow, and
That's
then
that's
fuck
the
my
warm
husband.
up.
That
Antique
is.
Roadshow.
For me,
That's
I can't
so
be
gross,
happier
Patty.
than watching Antiques Roadshow. I go, can we watch Antiques? We had hot dogs and sauerkraut.
This,
I cooked.
that sounds like maybe the
I'm
worst
gonna
foreplay
throw up.
I've
Yeah,
ever heard
yeah,
of.
right.
I've
And
ever
then
heard
we
that.
banged. So anyway,
You know, she's not exhausted because she's young still, and she never had kids to wear her fucking down day after day.
listen, Carrie, we're tired twats. It doesn't mean we don't bang. It just means we're tired twats. I mean, our twats still work,
Well,
right? Correct?
you can talk about yours all you want.
I know. I'm like, oh, we keep using that harsh word of twat.
You still have a
I
pussy.
don't really. I don't use that word either. JP's been very upset with me that I don't use any of those words.
No, you can't use them
no,
on
I just
stage.
don't. I just don't. No, but I just don't use them. It's a
On
weird
stage,
word.
I don't use any of those words.
Yeah, I come very. I get very pearl clutchy. Very pearl clutchy.
Alex Trebek is my foreplay.
I don't
That's
think I'd
true,
be funny
Dan.
with them. You guys are funny with it.
With what?
It
Twats?
gets me.
You guys can do.
You don't curse in your act?
I do, but I never use that word.
Pussy?
No.
Well, I don't use pussy
no.
on stage. I just use it.
Or the T word either.
Twats.
It's like it's oh my. It
Well,
gets oh
in
my.
England-
Oh my.
I don't use the C word.
Oh my.
No, in England, if you
No.
go to England, twat is like a hiccup. They say it all the
Yeah,
time.
twat is, and cunt
twat.
is also, you
And
silly
cunt
cunts.
too.
They
Yes,
just call
do.
each other
Yes,
silly
they-
cunts.
Yeah.
So I don't really care about the cunt word, as long as it's not said with malice
blushing.
and what's the other word? Malice and. Do you want to talk about the thing or no? It's the end of the show.
No, I don't want to talk about that.
Okay, fine.
What's going on?
She was called a cunt by someone, but we won't.
Fat Greek.
What?
A fat Greek cunt had something thrown at her, but she's not going to mention
And
it.
he told me to shove it up my fat Greek.
Are you?
And then he
really?
threw spinach chips.
At
No,
least
they
it
were
was a
seaweed.
light thing. It was seaweed chips.
I like the way you always stick up for
See,
him.
no, I'm
At
not
least
sticking
it
up, I'm not
was
sticking up.
light, he says.
I just think it's
Adam.
funny. I just think it's funny that it was seaweed
People
chips.
don't even know what we're talking about unless they
The
listen
guy
to
hates me.
Kevin
I
Brennan's
was on
podcast.
Kevin Brennan's podcast, but he had a bone to pick with Kevin Brennan, but he hates me.
Well, he can't hate Kevin
like
Brennan because
Kevin
that's his
Brennan.
meal ticket. Kevin gives him the money, so even though
Oh,
he's
my.
mad at Kevin, he's going to throw the shit at you because you don't give him any money. Let's be honest.
Right.
Well, to be fair, he was mad at everybody.
Was he mad at me
He
too?
was mad at well.
I didn't even do anything.
He's
no,
like,
actually,
Patty's
no,
the
no,
nice
no.
one. he
Actually, no.
goes.
Yeah, he was very. He was never mad at you.
I said,
were safe.
can I tell you the truth? I was so happy. This is the sad part of
Mm-hmm.
the story. I was so happy that he had quit drinking, but I forgot about the part that when you quit drinking,
Yeah, you become an asshole.
You are crazy because all of your emotions are at
Mm-hmm.
your fingertips, and then you're a dry drunk. So you have to be a dry drunk.
You
for a
feel
long time.
everything.
So what twisted him to the, turned him to the, he's been calling me fat since I met the guy, and I don't even know the guy. Kevin
can't- first of
Brennan,
all-
we started together with Kevin.
Carrie, I
So
don't
he
even
can-
think you're not fat.
But
Please.
he could call me whatever he wants, Kevin. But it's funny.
Kevin calls you a cunt, but it's
but
funny
it's
because
funny
he doesn't
when
mean
you
it.
say fat cunt. It's a funny thing, right?
It is.
So now this fat guy, this obnoxious racist fat guy, who I don't even know where he came from. He's not a comic. I don't even know what he is.
I think he used to be a comic, right?
No,
Not really,
I don't
no.
think he. I think
He
he
gets
maybe
shows
want to
doing
be a comic. I don't
He
know.
did porn. He did soft porn.
he
He
produced
didn't
soft
do it.
porn.
Okay, I'm gonna throw up now.
Okay, he directed and
It
produced
just gets worse
Anyway,
and worse
okay,
the
it
more
sounds worse,
detail.
but-
The guy has insulted me from day one. I'm like, okay, you want to play it like that? I don't know who you are, but if you're going to call me a fat cunt, you're going to get it back.
Right.
And he can't take it.
Right.
He's like this big baby. And so I brought the chips. I said, Patty, here's some seaweed chips. And I go, here's some chips for you, too.
To
go,
Brian.
I go, because you're a little chubby.
That's all she said.
That's all I said.
That's all she said. She goes, "You're a little chubby. You could use a diet food like chips." And then that started it off. And he goes, "Really, Carrie?" He goes, "Because I hear."
yeah,
he goes,
yeah.
"I hear you used to be hot. I hear you used to
You
be
are-
very hot, but I
you're
can't
very
believe
hot,
it." And then Carrie's like, "Really, motherfucker? Really?"
No, this is what I said.
Okay.
I said, yeah, Brian, I used to be hot. Yeah. I go, but at least I used to be hot. You never were hot.
It just went downhill from there.
It was
can't- you
actually
can't-
the where it actually started was when you pulled the chips out, and then Kevin was like, "No eating on the show." He like scolded all of you,
know
and,
he's getting so
Brian
mad.
actually was pissed, probably more about that.
Because he wanted to eat the chips,
No, he
right?
just didn't want to be told what to do. So he was actually pissed about that, and then you guys got into it. It was
Oy vey.
it was doomed, but it was
people
fantastic.
stormed off
He
and-
stormed out. I mean, like, when does that happen on a podcast?
And then
it
the
was great.
tweeting that went down, I was like, ugh, I can't.
I was like, every time I went to the tweets, there were like 13 more.
Yeah,
Like,
right,
what the
right.
fuck's going
There's a
on?
whole fight online. I hate online fights.
They scare me.
They scare me
First of
too.
all, they're 20-year-old kids that are fighting with you. It's ridiculous.
But no
It's
one
like,
really fought with us. Everyone was like, it was good.
A couple of guys got
Yeah,
into
people,
it with me.
people just
A
thought
couple
it
of
was.
guys got into it with me. Then they started, doing all
But
the
you
fat
didn't ignore
jokes.
that.
They started doing all the fat jokes. I'm going to go back and forth like I'm 13.
Yeah, you
Maybe
know,
I should hand the phone to my kid.
No, just ignore it when
Yeah,
they
just
do that.
ignore it.
I don't even look at it if it's negative. I'm just like, unless I can think of something kind of funny to say back if it's negative. Otherwise, then I just leave it
unless
go.
you have fun with it. If you want to have
Yeah,
fun
you just
with
make it
that's
funny.
different.
Who gives a? Because one guy said something really assholishly about us, or this was a while ago on one of Kevin's shows, and I thought, and then I said something funny back. I retweeted it and said, I don't even remember what it was. And he goes, "Okay," he goes, "Now I like you and I'm going to follow you."
Yeah,
So
no,
he
it's-
went from
Well,
hating me to following me just because I made fun of myself.
No, but I usually go, Patty, let me handle this.
I know, because I'm not good at fucking fighting back.
And
Carrie's
then
really
I'll
good
go
at it.
back at him, and then,
No, that's
I'm
crazy.
good at that. I kind of like it for a minute, and then I'm like, all right, I'm done with you. But anyway, let's get back to you because
Yes.
you are here
You
from.
came how much time have we gone in, Brian?
We are, Brian. We're at.
Oh my God! I just.
Brian.
At
We're
the
at,
beginning of the show, I called you. I was calling you Kevin.
That's
At
fine.
the other show, now I'm calling you Brian. Oh, that's so funny.
We're at like about an hour and 8.
Oh,
Hour-
okay.
Good, we got
hour
a
eight.
little. We got like 5 or 10 more minutes.
Sure.
So we worked together. Well, we didn't work together. I crashed the brokerage because I had a private party, and I had
Oh, she said you were so
I
funny.
did a Haitian birthday party. Oof! I'm
a minute.
Susie Chapstick
Wait a minute, you did a Haitian? How'd you get a Haitian birthday party?
because the girl loves me. The girl who saw me at brokerage and governor, she's been my fan. I want you to do my mother's 85th birthday. So first, let's go to. They got the biggest house on the block. She's got big bucks. Everyone's wearing white. It's a white party.
Didn't I tell you I got invited to a white birthday and nobody fucking told me I'm wearing all black?
And I'm wearing all black.
This is
But
exactly
wasn't
what
it a
happened to
black
me.
party? So you were kind of white anyway.
I was white. I'm wearing somewhat white.
Yeah.
I go to them. No, I go. I didn't get the memo on the white thing. Thanks, Danny. I
I
go
know.
to
What
her.
did they tell you?
But anyway, so now the whole part. I'm standing here by the pool. There's a whole thing of people sitting at the tables, looking at the fence, not even looking at me.
Right.
So now I'm doing my act, and then no one's laughing, and I got to do 35 minutes.
Wait, they're not laughing?
Not
Boy,
zero.
they-
Why?
Every now and then they would laugh. And then 2 white people come in. I'm like, what happened? You guys got lost? And they laughed at that. So they were listening, but they weren't laughing.
Maybe they
'cause
don't know they're
every now
supposed
and
to
then they
laugh.
were laughing. And, I'm
Well, it's
talking
also
about
it's
how
also a lot of a cultural, like the Haitian culture is also kind of cultural
And they have an
specific, kind of
accent.
like, huh?
they had that accent.
They have
that
the
thick-
accent, so it's a different dialect of humor. Like Jamaican humor is very different from American humor. So I
But they
Right,
don't
so
laugh out
that-
loud? They
It's
should
like
laugh?
doing comedy in Europe. It's
yeah,
a different.
when you go to Scotland or like
Yes.
Amsterdam, and everyone just kind of looks at you.
Yeah, I never had to.
It's like
thank
so it
God
might
I
be
didn't have to do
a
it.
dialect thing.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was like they didn't. I don't know if they got it or if they were like, my husband's hairy. They didn't give a shit. I'm
Maybe they
talking
don't
about
have
my
hairy
blown out
husbands.
vagina. They didn't care. So anyway, I felt like I was. I was
You
so
told the
demeaned.
Haitians you had a blown out vagina.
Yes.
Maybe Haitian people
I
don't get blown
leave.
out vaginas.
The girl was like, "I love you, thank you, stay and eat." I'm like, I really just want to get the fuck
Oh.
out of here before somebody comes up to me and goes, "Oh, girl, so sorry." Like, they felt bad for me. Anyway, I get my car. I go. I want to get there to see her because she's hilarious.
Right.
But I haven't seen her in years.
Right.
And I get there and I'm like, I got to do 5 minutes just to redeem myself. And I did literally 5 minutes. But then I stayed and watched you, and you were fucking on fire.
Oh, thanks. I felt that show like I felt like I was going to fall asleep during that show.
Why?
I was so tired. I've
The
been on
second
the road.
show sucks.
I was just
Oh,
tired.
I hate doing a second show anywhere.
And
Are
it
you
was-
kidding? I'm like, after the first show, I'm like, I need to go to bed and have a little.
No, it was just kind of. I think the
Cocktail-
room was
no,
kind
no,
of like they were all. It's like they all smoked the same joint. And we're just kind of. Everything was very laid back. So I'm a high energy
Yeah.
comic.
Yeah.
So for me, I had to really low gear it.
Yeah.
Because otherwise you get to be too much, and then it becomes white noise to them.
Yeah,
so you
yeah.
got to keep it like low ball.
Yeah, yeah.
But
You
you
know?
sing also in your act.
Yeah, I do it. Well, I do a piece on my mom.
My thing broke.
It broke?
Well, I don't know. It ran out. Can you
Yeah.
plug it in?
So
Hear
anyway.
anything? Oh, fuck. Okay.
Yeah, so that's.
So I do a piece. I have a piece on my mom. So I do a piece on my mom. So that's why I do the singing. So
My thing broke.
Patty's in her own
Is that
world.
like-
So
Why are you laughing at that? My
you
thing
held
broke.
up your phone and said, "My broke.
I think it looked like it broke.
She's
That-
That was-
crazy.
I was
that
looking
was-
for comments.
That
and
was
then,
just
Did
darling.
you get any comments?
Yeah, the
Karen?
comments are Patty, shut up. So
All right.
anyway, so you went up and you had a great weekend because James said you did great and everybody loved you. So we really want you back in New York.
Oh, I appreciate that. I'm so happy to be in a comedy environment where I can, where what I wrote, what I formulaically think, because in LA you're writing, I can write formulas, and then I'm going, this should work, and it doesn't necessarily work in LA.
Yeah.
People just kind of look at you, and then here they get
What
it.
are they like there? Are they like
vagina,
politically
vagina,
correct?
vagina,
Oh,
vagina,
really?
vagina,
They're
vagina.
Yeah,
not
my
poli-
specialty.
Yeah, and I really don't have any of that
They're
material.
not politically correct like over there where you.
No, it's really weird. It's gotten very blue, and it's kind of very blue and very anti-performance style.
Do you get stage time there? I mean, can you go up at the Improv?
You know what? I
the
have Bill
comment-
Burr
comedy
vouch for
store?
me over at the store, so I go in and out, and but it's like short time. I don't get enough time. I have a show that I run at the Improv called the Maija Show that I run twice a month there. But I need to work long time because I want to lock a special. So I'm really trying to get out and run it because I've never really, it was a kind of a feature when I left comedy, even though I had a lot
I
of
thought
a
of you
lot
as
of
a
heat.
headliner. Actually, I thought
Well,
you always went.
I had a
on the
lot. I had a lot of heat, but I didn't have the material. And now I have the material, and it's who I am. It's not the material other people encouraged me to write. And so now I'm just kind of enjoying it, but it's also, I can see like, wow, it works the way I intended for it to work here.
Yeah.
So it's, I'm trying to lock a lot of material because it's like I wrote as if I had not left, but until I can run it, even though I can look at it and say it's going to work, it's, you got to run it. So that's kind of, I'm on this little mission of getting as much stage time just to keep running it.
Cool.
And
So
All right,
where
well-
are you living here? Do you have an apartment or
No,
you
I
just
don't.
crashing
I'm
on
kind of
couches
floating
right
around.
now?
Couches
She
to
lives on
hotels.
couches.
Couches
Listen,
and hotels.
I can't be around other people. I don't know how you can be on somebody's couch. I'm just like, oh,
Patty, nobody could be around you either.
fucking talking to me like.
No,
if
I
people
look. I prefer to be in my own space, and I look forward to the weekends when I have hotels. In places that I got the hotels. But you know what? But it's. I'm really grateful that I'm getting the room to come back after all this time
I could do it
and get
maybe-
back on stage.
Well, there's always
In
a couch at my
college,
house
I appreciate
whenever
it.
you
I
fucking need
appreciate it.
it.
I appreciate it.
Anytime.
And I cook good Italian. and I
Carrie
make some
really
great
means
ribs.
it too. That's the thing I don't understand about Carrie. Carrie can have people live in her house.
Yes.
Nothing fucking bothers her. I would be like, what's
Well,
that
I
noise?
also went to
What's the
boarding
TV
school.
On?
I went to boarding school, so I'm used to
Oh,
a lot
so
of
you
people
can
around.
Oh, I can't have anyone
But you
around.
like a lot of people around? Or you
Yeah,
like
I
to
like.
be-
It depends on the people. Like now, I'm getting a little choosier because I'm trying to really stay focused on what I'm working on. And
no bloodsuckers or energy
yeah,
suckers.
yeah.
Lose
and
the
I-
dead weight.
Yeah, and that's been this trip has also been, how to keep my energy right and be around the right people, and so I've kind of found who's really healthy friends for me to be around that are like they're trying to help you win.
And
All
not
right.
suck the energy out of the fucking room.
All
Yeah.
right, what's your where are you going to be?
This weekend I'm at Governor's, one of the Governor's clubs. I'm opening up, I think, for Christopher Brian Roach from the
You don't know
Kim-
which you're at Governor's or
I
Brokerage?
might be at McGuire's one night, Governor's another night. I don't
All right,
know.
Very good. You should somewhere on Long
Always
Island.
a couch at Carrie Carabas's. That's correct. There'll always be a couch for any of my friends.
Even when I have good friends, it's very hard if they sleep over. Even good friends, I'm like, I have a 24-hour limit. After 24 hours, now you have to go home. Even parties, that's why I can't have parties at my house. People want to stay. It's like I have to tell people, now you have to go. You have to leave my party.
Just so you know,
Because
I've
I'm
known
exhausted.
I've known you for 20 years. I've never been invited to one of your parties.
What are you
Except for
talking
your
about?
wedding.
What are you
Except for
fucking
your
talking
wedding.
about? I invited you to. Oh, you didn't invite me to your wedding. Give me a fucking
Oh,
break.
hold on a second, but it
Yeah,
was
you
supposed
knew
to
me.
be it was supposed to be family only.
What was?
My wedding, I was 9 months pregnant.
Yeah, you had every comic. You had Judy Cinciano before you had me at your
Oh,
wedding.
she crashed my wedding.
All right, well, somebody.
She crashed. You know
made-
Judy
All right.
Maybe
Cinciano?
watch it.
You know Judy Cinciano?
Yeah.
Okay, she crashed my
Okay,
fucking...
I will invite you to any party I have, but here's the truth:
She
I don't have
crashed-
parties.
I
because
didn't
don't like
invite
parties.
Judy. Judy crashed the wedding. And
All right.
what was I supposed
You
to
had
say?
Rachel Feinstein at your party. You had every girl come. You had Carol Montgomery at your
No,
party.
I did not
You had
have
somebody
Carol
like that.
fucking Montgomery
Who else
at
did
my
you have?
party.
Somebody
Get
else.
the hell out of here.
Okay, where are you going to be?
Where are you going to be?
I'm at Yonkers this weekend.
What do you mean Yonkers?
I'm Yonkers. The Yonkers got a comedy club up there, so I'm doing
What's the
Yonkers
name of it?
Yonkers Comedy Club
Oh, okay.
in Yonkers. So I'm
What's
headlining
Yon-
up
Oh,
there.
I know that place.
And then
yeah,
next week I'm
it's in the mall, actually.
Yeah, and then
Oh, that's a nice room. That's cute. My kids, yeah, definitely.
then I'm in Catch the week after that.
Catch a Restaurant in Princeton?
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Very
it.
nice.
Has
She
that-
doesn't
that
return my
still goes
calls.
on?
That's all right.
Yeah,
Susie,
I'm
whatever
glad.
her
It's
name
great,
is.
and the place has got some good
And it's
cauliflower
got
mashed
ho-
potatoes.
It's
and-
got the, you're in the
Oh,
hotel.
I love the hotel.
They give you a
It's just
hotel.
yeah, and then I'm back in LA, and then I'm got a Maija show in LA, and
Very
I'm
nice.
back again.
So
in
if
That's
2
any
weeks.
LA
expensive.
people are
2
watching,
weeks.
Flying back and forth, that's a
go
lot
to
of money.
where
So
is
the
the
Maija
Maija
show that on the 30th at the Hollywood Improv with Jeff Husbands, who's actually on there right now. He's a great comedian. He's hosting it. He runs a show with me and for me. And then we have a show on the 11th in July. So the
Very
30th
nice.
though, the 30th and then the 11th. So I do
Very
twice a
nice.
month there.
At the Hollywood Improv.
Yes.
Maija DiGiorgio.
Yes.
What's your website that they could go find you?
Maija Returns. Now here's the key.
You have a good website,
Maija.
actually. My website
Hold on.
sucks.
Maija. The problem is nobody knows how to spell my name. So
It's the J that throws me
it's
off.
Maij, or people put the I before the A.
It looks like your name should be Miaja.
I have
DJ
my
Gaga.
mother was very, very. She had to do everything fabulous. It had to be Maija. She found
She
it.
had class.
It was in Finnish. She found it in Finnish. It was
Oh.
it's supposed to mean May, but in Finnish. My sister's Ninon. So
Oh,
you think
God.
I have it? We have
That
tough
would be
names.
rough.
I have Maija.
Yeah, that's very hard.
Yeah. So
Your
All right.
father didn't get a say in
My-
any of them.
no.
I'm
right.
going to be. Where am I going to be?
Giovanna.
Patty.
Imagine.
Laugh it up. How many times have I said fucking laugh it up to
You've said it
promote this
1,000
thing?
times.
Okay, with Rita Chandru
In Poughkeepsie.
Ken Krantz, who actually we did one earlier, but it won't be out till August. Yeah, in Poughkeepsie on the 29th of June. And then please, the 12th and 13th, I will be at Governor's in Long Island. My daughter, Molly Cornfield, will be opening for me. Mario Bosco is supposedly going to be on
Really?
the show. And maybe Carrie Karavis will.
On the 29th?
Please don't go on before me, though, if you're coming by for any fucking guest sets. Don't think I'm going to let you on before me to ruin the crowd for me.
I'm not going to come on, but the 29th, I think I'm somewhere.
Afterwards, do as much time as you want. She'll get up there doing her fucking Long Island jokes about gambling, and I'm going to fucking eat it. That's what.
That's
what's
not
this?
true.
I
All
like. Yeah, you can open for me. I like whenever you're on. I feel like back in the day when I was like, someday I'm gonna be like Carrie. Because
Carrie's
you're so. Oh my god! When I
hilarious.
first met her, she would just go in and just annihilate these
Yeah,
the
absolutely.
roughest room, just and look great and just go on and kill,
And
kill,
be
kill,
all
kill,
sexy.
kill, kill.
In
Yeah,
my cutoff shirt.
That's right.
I still wear the cutoff shirt.
Uh-oh.
It's a
kidding.
huge laugh now.
No, I'm kidding. I'm sure it just covers the top of your boobs now.
Ugh.
All right, Adam. Thank you for being our producer.
Adam Hinniker. Thanks to Comic Strip 82nd and 2nd
Yeah.
every week.
Rec.
Yes.
Rec,
We could
New
just
York
say-
City.
Just comic strip.
Comic strip at the
Comic
Comic
Strip
Strip-
Live Studios.
Comic Strip Live
Okay,
Studios.
and we
He's
also
taken
want to
a-
thank our Patreon people for giving us money. And if you feel like giving us money, anything will help. $1, a penny, whatever. Every month we give you 4 great shows, sometimes 5, right?
I don't know if we've ever done 5.
Well, if the month has 5 Tuesdays, they get 5.
what the fuck?
Sometimes you'll get a 5
Have
show.
we
Yeah,
ever
if,
had
if
5?
it's if it's
Are there
the
5
right-
Tuesdays in a month? I didn't
There
even
might
know
be
that.
a month where there's 5
I like
Tuesdays.
that Carrie gets
maybe
it on
May.
a technicality.
Yeah.
She's like, I think on leap year.
Google
leap
it.
year, there's an extra Tuesday. We'll give you 5 on a leap year.
So we want to thank you for giving us money. And if you want to give us money on Patreon, it's very easy. Patreon.com/2tiredtwats.
And if you believe that Carrie should get some money for being on a podcast where she has chips thrown at her and called a horrible name, maybe someone just want to donate just for you
Yeah,
being
ha-
able to put up with
From
somebody
damage money.
for
Hazard pay,
damages, for
hazard pay.
damages, hazard pay,
Yeah.
for chips being thrown at her and being called
A big
a
fat.
fat Greek cunt. Maybe
You
maybe
get
anyone,
anything a gift.
maybe anybody watching that show,
A one-time $1,000
a one-time gift, and then just $1,000, and then you take it away the next month just to say sorry you had to put up with that, Carrie. How about that?
I think that's great. But again, you can find us on iTunes. Give us a review. Leave us a review. If you like us, you can find us on YouTube.
What?
Hey, also
A review. A review.
one thing that we never talked about, also
Yeah.
Stitcher and Spotify.
What's a Stitcher and Spotify?
Oh my
Those
God,
are
Patty.
platforms that you're on. But
We're
we never,
on
we never
Stitcher
really,
and Spotify? I never
Yeah,
fucking
yeah,
knew
yeah.
that.
Spotify.
Yeah. Well,
Stitcher.
I sent you the links when we went
You
up
sent
there.
me
but
the links?
a long time ago. But that's just
Interesting.
another good platform that people can. A lot of people listen on Spotify. So
Spotify. We never knew
Patty,
that.
we're on Spotify.
I'm
And
writing
the
that-
Puma.
never knew
And
that.
the Puma
writing
is
this down.
sending us the gay flag. Happy Pride Month to all my gays out there and to all my gay friends. I love you all.
And to my
Patty
gay
almost
ex-husband,
was gay.
to my gay ex-husband, and
Yes.
right? Why
So
not
happy,
him too?
happy gay pride.
Yes, and that one day I was gay. That one night.
I just said it. My
Oh, you did
almost
say that.
Gay,
I didn't hear you say that. I
my
was
almost
talking
gay
over you.
co-host. We want to wish you a happy gay pride, and I'm very.
What?
My entire neighborhood that I'm not making it back to West Hollywood, but
They're all gay.
yeah, my entire I'm at
West Hollywood's
Yeah,
gay?
West
I just
Hollywood
moved.
is-
Yeah, the West Hollywood. It's like gay
didn't know that.
Disney.
Adam, why do you know
there's-
that?
Because it's known for that. It's
known
very
for that.
famous.
That's like
on
Disney.
the
That's
cop
like
car. I've been to West Hollywood. On the cop car, it's like a rainbow.
the Rainbow
with
Streets.
the-
Rainbow
Yeah.
Streets.
Yeah, it's about as gay as you get.
So the
Yeah.
cops are gay also?
Yeah, they ride up on one. We had a break-in. The cops came up on a bicycle with their legs all shiny and shorts. They had little shorts. They biked up like,
Oh my God, you've been robbed? That's horrible. Oh my, oh, they left your clothes. How unfortunate.
it was really. It's like
It's so sad.
Oh my god.
How about those people that fought the thing and they want straight Pride Day?
What are you talking about?
oh yeah, the Straight Pride Day. I
What's
think,
a straight pride day? Oh, the straights. There's
I
always
think it
going
was
to be
like
straights
I think it was
who
some
do
guys
that.
in like Boston or something.
No,
It was-
they
it's like-
wanted the
it's like
day
white
for
guy
they
history.
can have
Yeah,
like
right.
how
Every
stupid
day
are
is
people.
straight fucking
Right,
pride. Oh well,
right.
who gives a shit?
Anyway, whatever.
All right. What else? Carrie, anything? Are we saying goodbye? Thank you,
We're
Maya.
saying goodbye. We love you,
DiGiorgio.
Maya.
Thank
Thank
you
you
for
having
coming
me.
and doing
Oh,
this.
thank you for having me. And
And
Absolutely.
I hope your movie comes out. What is it called?
it's called Hollywood Outlaw.
The
Really
Hollywood
interesting.
Outlaw.
That's
If
a
it
good
comes
title.
out, if it's on Netflix, wherever you see it, rent it, buy it. It's the
Because
best.
Carrie will be wearing her little outfit, and we can make Brian watch the show and prove how hot you were. Yeah. Maybe he'll take it back. Maybe he will fucking make amends to Carrie Karavis when he finally stops being a dry drunk, and he will say, Carrie Karavis, I don't know what I was thinking. I am so sorry. It was my fault.
You know what? I'd rather.
Forgive me.
I'd rather not. I'd rather not take that apology. Anyhow.
All right.
All right, everybody. Thanks
That's
for
it.
listening.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Bye.
Good night, everybody.
Thank you very much. I was going to look at my thing, but I can't.
Woo!
'Cause my-